Hey guys, this is Marcus and Leo from Big Time Super Friends, and I know it's been a long time, but have no fear. Our Justice League movie review is here. Well, Leo, it's been a long time coming.
We're back.
It's been like 4 or 5 months, but fuck it, you know? We're here. Justice League, just so you guys know, this is a spoiler-filled fucking review. So if you haven't seen the movie, add this to your favorites. Come back to it whenever you did see it. And please watch it because this movie is worth it. Do not pay too much attention to the review or the statistics and Rotten Tomatoes. At least that's just my opinion. And with that out of the way, just first impressions, Leo. Like, what'd you think?
I didn't go into this movie thinking who directed it, who's directing. Am I going to notice more? I just went in hoping to see a good movie. That's all I cared about.
The thing with me is like, just like you mentioned, Joss Whedon took over not halfway through, but like towards the end, towards the post processing of this thing.
But it did feel like they sort of reshot the entire.
Oh yeah, movie. Yeah. They did like someone said like something around like 20% of the movie they reshot, and Joss Whedon did change some things. But I'm just thinking, you know, I had the same concerns you did. It's like, am I going to notice this? Am I going to notice like I get to one certain point and then all of a sudden, boom, it becomes a whole different movie?
Which, I guess...
Did you notice that?
Not really.
I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that.
What I did notice is something we'll talk about later involving a plot point that is now missing. Okay? But...
Obviously missing.
Right. But essentially, I like the movie.
It's entertaining.
It's very entertaining. The only thing is we'll get into that, I guess, but there's just little things that when I think about the movie and I get into the heart of how I enjoyed it, I start thinking like, oh, but wait, this was missing. And that wasn't the way I thought it was going to be, or I wanted it to be. Yeah,
the thing that at least distracted me for is the first 20 minutes of the goddamn movie. I thought we were in trouble, bro. I thought the movie was in fucking trouble the first 20 minutes because...
I sort of felt the same.
Yeah,
sort of.
I was watching it and I'm like, okay, this felt like, here's a scene, it's a pretty scene with Wonder Woman, and then here's a different scene with Aquaman, and then here's a different scene with The Flash, and they didn't feel like they flowed into each other.
I don't get the same feel, but what I do think about when I think about the first, let's say, the first act, if you will, is... it feels like Transformers, where like, okay, all of a sudden, you know there's all these aliens that landed on Earth. Now we're going to go find these aliens and see what's happening to them as they're, you know, coming to on this planet. You know, the whole thing with the mother boxes and the reveal of Steppenwolf, right? It was almost like, I mean, it was going to be there anyway, but...
I felt like it was rushed, bro. The first 20 minutes.
And that's just it. Like, I do agree with you, but at the same time, when I finish watching the movie, I don't sit there thinking, oh, that movie was rushed, you know? Or, oh, man, Steppenwolf looked different than what he did in the extended cut of BVS. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter. None of these things really matter. It's a great movie.
It's a great movie. It's a good movie, for sure.
Maybe not great, but good. It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. It's a movie good enough for you to goddamn watch it.
I'm going to watch it over and over again, I think, once I get
that's
it.
That's a 4K Blu-ray buy.
For sure.
The thing that bothered me, though, in the first 20 minutes, speaking of the characters, is, and Leo mentioned it earlier, is that there were certain things in the trailers that we saw that I was expecting to see.
It was the trailers that misled us, I think.
A little bit, or Joss Whedon went in and was like, nope, we need to take this out, we need to take that out, just to make the 2-hour window.
Which sucks.
And I think that's what happened.
I don't like that, by the way.
Because there were some scenes with, like, let's take Cyborg, for example, the character Cyborg.
He was great.
He was really, really good. I don't know the actor's name, but he was very, very good. Cyborg, and he looked good. For the most part, he looked good.
Ray Fox, I think is his name?
Not sure. I have to take your word on that one. But there were certain things in the trailer where, like, he's walking around with his Letterman jacket.
Oh yeah,
football Letterman
I wanted
jacket.
to see his whole college thing.
Yeah, exactly. Him playing football.
Sure.
None of that is in the fucking movie. None of it. Right. And the thing is like, it's that first 20 minutes. That's what I'm talking about. When I felt like it was just a scene, and there was no setup to that scene.
Yeah, there really wasn't.
It was like each character just boom, 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 boom appeared, and now we're like. they're partnered up and they're ready to go. They're like, that's what I felt in the first 20, 25 minutes.
See, the thing about what we're complaining, the point we're arguing about right now is that Marvel got 4 movies to establish 3 main characters that were going to be part of this whole team up, right?
Yeah.
In this movie, we've only gotten essentially 3. That one of them is dead coming into this movie, and the other 2 are trying to get others to come and play with them, right?
Yeah, and you're talking about Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah, right. So we've seen, obviously at this point, we've seen Superman, and now we see Batman and Wonder Woman, and then we get the solo Wonder Woman movie. We get Suicide Squad, a little bit more of Batman there.
But had nothing to do with the Justice League.
Nothing at all. And then all of a sudden, now we get Cyborg and Flash, who are guys that we want...
And Aquaman.
And Aquaman, who we've wanted to see, for a long time now. And it's like, oh gosh, I wish there would have been a setup movie for each of those guys.
Yeah.
So coming into this, I get that backstory of, Barry Allen and his dad.
Yeah, exactly.
And this version of Aquaman, which is like, I don't want the throne, right? And then, Cyborg,
even Barry Allen at this point in this movie, he hasn't even worked. He's not working for the police department.
He's an amateur. He's just an amateur.
Yeah.
Just being a good citizen,
And the thing is I think the thing that's biting DC in the butt, even though, again, you look at my, Man of Steel review, my Batman vs. Superman review, I love DC movies. But the thing that they kind of, I think the shortcut that they took is biting them a little bit in the butt, in the sense that they didn't take the time to prep for this movie in the sense of the characters. Like, Aquaman didn't come.
Sure.
There's no Aquaman solo movie. We got, like, Wonder Woman solo movie, which is good. We had no Batman solo movie.
No.
The Flash, I mean, those would have been key.
And that movie was in development.
Yeah.
Before this movie was even starting to get made, and then it fell apart. So
it was just one of that. So when you watch this movie, just keep that in mind. That you kind of the filmmakers here are kind of forcing you to fill in the gaps.
Sure,
and you will fill in the gaps. It's not like it's hard to follow or anything like that. You just accept that these guys are a team.
Sure, but I don't think everyone is. Well, I don't think most people will understand the whole thing with Barry Allen and his dad. Although they do explain it, right? Oh, his dad got, his mom was murdered when he was a kid, and his dad got blamed for it. That's it.
The thing with Barry Allen is I kind of slightly disagree with you in the sense that they have, and I know this isn't like a good example, but they have the television show for reference of that.
Sure.
The television show, The Flash, is a very, very popular show. They know the story of like, the Reverse Flash coming back and killing Barry Allen's mom and blah, blah, blah.
But speaking of the show, I honestly thought, the very first scene with Barry Allen and his dad, and the dad's talking and they're revealing who his dad is, right? Billy Crudup. It almost sounded like John Wesley Shipp. Like, I was thinking about his performance in the show, and I thought, well, that's pretty on par with each other. Like, they both did a good job, I think, of that character.
Yeah.
And he's very convincing about, Barry, move on. My life is this. I've accepted it, and Barry's just, he can't let go of that past, which is, I think, a very good, it's an important plot point for sure for the character.
Now, speaking of Barry Allen, let's just talk characters now, for example.
Sure.
Barry Allen. Did you like Ezra Miller as Barry Allen?
I actually really did. It was a different take on him, which I like Grant Gustin's character. I like Grant Gustin's character a lot, take on the Flash. His Barry Allen is very confident, but not an arrogant guy. He's just a sure guy who is humble, sort of on the nerdy side, but has some swagger. Ezra's Flash almost felt like awkward.
Not antisocial.
Antisocial,
kind of like
maybe
loner.
on the spectrum.
Yeah, like a loner.
Sure, maybe
like a funny loner.
Right, but he almost seems like he's maybe on the spectrum. Maybe has some form of
autism.
Autism, yeah, on the spectrum. Just like the blue Power Ranger. Sorry, the Black Power Ranger.
The Black Power. Oh, I see.
He was on the spectrum, right? He was a little weird with how he did things and his.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of
Barry Allen was sort of weird like that too, which honestly it caught me off guard. The fact that he was sort of living off the grid, but he was totally like a hacker. Like he had a whole setup, almost like rivaling the Batcave, if you will.
Sure. And you know what? It's understandable, though, because that he would be this way, because I'm just thinking no one sees the world like Barry Allen sees the world.
You're right.
He sees, like, everything at its minute, detail as it's happening. No one else sees it. I mean,
Sure.
he jokes about like having to wait in lines. He hates that. Like that doesn't register in his mind.
Right.
So the Flash, I think, was the key character in this movie. By the way, this is spoilers, so Superman is in this movie. Superman does return.
Sure.
It's kind of like a dead giveaway.
It's like right in the middle of the movie.
Yeah. But the thing is like Superman is my favorite. But if Superman was out of the equation, the Flash would definitely have been my favorite character in this whole movie.
Yeah.
He was funny. He brought life to this movie. He brought the jokes, and every single time he had the funniest facial expressions ever. I mean, he did a really, really good job.
He was us in the movie. Right?
I think
he
so.
was like, "Oh, that's your bat signal. Like that's you." Oh,
yeah,
my bad.
I can't tell no one. I can't.
Yeah. Like they're calling you. Oh, my bad. I gotta keep my mouth shut. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they really did disappear. Oh shit.
Yeah,
So he is kind of like us,
which is cool.
Now, what about Jason Momoa as Aquaman?
Okay, I've been dying to talk about this because I always was curious why they chose such a darker skinned Arthur Curry. Okay.
Lack of sun.
Because what?
Because the lack of sun. He's down the deeper what?
No, because it's just I've been trained since I was a kid for a blonde hair,
okay, I see.
Blue-eyed, Caucasian male, light-skinned male. That's who I've always envisioned Arthur Curry to be. But there's a scene in his backstory where you see the king of Atlantis, and he's got long, flowing blonde hair, and he's got sort of an orangey sort of an armor, and he's got like the blue eyes and the. I'm like, that's the Aquaman.
Yeah.
Arthur. Yeah. No, I'm serious. Like, okay, they addressed it without having to, right?
Yeah.
Like that got me excited. Like as a nerd, as the guy like growing up with like the plastic. This is how his arms move.
Yeah.
Aquaman, with the orange top, green bottom. I love that detail was addressed without saying a word.
I didn't notice
his
that
father
until you
was
just
that.
mentioned that. It's like, oh yeah,
it's in a cube.
Like that.
When he's sealing away the cube, that's when they show him. Okay, so now I'm like, I see. His mother must have been like an islander or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So he can be that dark with the blue eyes or the green eyes because his dad has them. So I loved that character, dude. I really did.
And Jason Momoa, like here, the thing that was worrying me before I saw this movie is in the trailers he kind of was like he was portrayed a little bit like a rocker, like my man,
right?
Yeah,
my man, yeah.
And it's like the long hair, I just thought he was gonna be that guy.
Down
exactly,
the parademon, yeah.
I thought like it was gonna be that, but he's not that. He's a little bit more than that.
He's actually very reserved.
Yes, and it took. There was this one scene that where he's accidentally sitting on the lasso of truth that kind of made him open up.
Yeah,
because he's been kind of like he's a closed off individual.
Closed off guy, yeah.
And I thought that was hilarious. Wonder Woman. I mean, she's good. I mean, she's kind of like know.
I love her intro where she's gonna fight the heist.
Yes.
Oh man, it was badass when she's moving with the blocking the gauntlets because he cocks the bolt, right, and he starts firing at all the hostages, and she's like, I'm gonna have to stop every bullet, and she does. She's like,
and the thing about Wonder Woman is like, since we're talking just character development, the reason why I kind of hesitated a little bit is because her character development was already taken care of.
Sure, she got a movie.
She got a movie. Right. That's why I was kind of like, well, it's kind of like it's just Wonder Woman, but. Speaking of that scene, I did like it, in the movie Wonder Woman. It did showcase her power and her abilities somewhat, but it didn't showcase her speed. Unlike in this movie, where it kind of did with the bullets, and she's she is faster than a goddamn bullet.
I want to slow it down because I just remember that scene. It was like a blur.
Oh yeah,
like she literally was like the Flash, like just like blocking because he was just gunning him down, and they show the slow mo. She pushes a guy to the side because she's not going to make it, so he just...
Like, the bullets flying to her, she's just like...
Yeah, she dodges one, like, nah, she's... Yeah, it's cool. I like that.
The one character I was worried about, bro, is fucking Cyborg. Okay? Like, I don't know too much about Cyborg, other than the animated movies and a little bit of comic books that I read from the New 52.
I watched Teen Titans Go, so I know a lot of them from there.
I do know that he's a little more of a stoic character, kind of a very kind
and
of
he
calculated.
Loves pizza.
Does he?
Teen Titans Go.
I was like, oh, okay. I was like, all right, whatever.
Pies.
But he's a more reserved kind of guy, more of a serious kind of guy.
Yeah, very.
Very kind of calculating, kind of algorithm, math calculations and blah blah blah.
Sure.
He's that
processing stuff all the time.
But this guy, he did a very good job of making him a little more human. It shows more of this guy actually struggling to cope with what is actually happening to him.
and the things that are sort of coming online for him, right? His abilities as they're happening.
Yeah, because his body is continuously evolving. So he's like, he's learning how to fly one day. He's like putting up a shield, like he's making up like custom guns with his hands. And so
a very cool thing that I thought he did was when he has this conversation in person with Wonder Woman. With Diana, right? He shuts down all the cameras in the area. All the lights go down, and it's like I need complete and utter privacy, right? And the only way is to shut down this quadrant of the grid. And then when he disappears, so he just blasts off and everything comes back online. He can control that.
Yeah, like literally, he is really powerful if you really think about
it. This movie really showcased a little bit, like the tip of the iceberg, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and halfway going into this movie, I realized, what I'm watching here? I'm essentially watching like a pre-origin story of these characters. Yeah. Like once they get their own solo movie, if Cyborg gets his own solo movie, they do have a lot to tell us still, because they didn't tell us hardly anything. He just showed up, and that was sort of it.
See, the thing about this movie that is also cool is you have Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, possibly Aquaman, but he's never been in this sort of like... Well, I guess he has by protecting that town, but you have the Flash and Cyborg who are essentially new to what they're doing, right?
Oh, yeah.
They still haven't established that they're protecting people. It's just more of like, I can do this, and just this is who I am, right? Arthur Curry protects that town. He protects the town, right? He brings fish to the town, and that's how he keeps them sort of supplied. And they give him booze, right? Obviously, that's how he sort of his payment, right?
And with Flash, he himself told us during this movie, hey, I'm just used to pushing people away, and
that's all he does,
away. Like I am not the hero kind of guy.
Which, if you remember Suicide Squad, there is that cutscene with him and Boomerang.
Yes.
Which is great.
Now, I'm just thinking, that's a different conversation, but I was about to literally, start talking Batman vs. Superman a little bit. So, here's one of the big reveals here is, obviously, Superman Returns, right?
Sure.
And this is actually one of my favorite scenes or moments in this movie. Mm-hmm. This movie had a lot of moments that made me smile and kind of it was when Superman was actually fighting the Justice League.
Oh yeah,
on the monument, right?
Oh my God, that was a great scene.
Really, really good scene, because it actually did showcase and let people know how strong Superman is.
Don't forget. Don't get it twisted. He's the man.
Yeah. I mean, he's holding Wonder Woman over here, Aquaman over here, Cyborg's trying to push him, and it's nah, I ain't having none of that, bro.
And then the cool thing, there's this little, the cherry on top, okay?
Yeah.
Flash is what do I do here?
Yeah.
Okay? And then
he's a whole noob,
He's just okay, I'm just going to start running, right? So he starts running. And
trying to get behind him.
Right, so he starts going around him, he's going to flank him, and then in the middle of his run, he slows down, and then you see Superman's face. And he's concentrating on these guys, and all of a sudden you get the side eye.
The side eye, bro.
He's Superman.
He went full, nah, brah.
Yeah, I'll get to you. You know?
But the thing that was so good about that scene was, as soon as they saw Superman's side eye, he's tracking Barry Allen, right?
Right.
Barry Allen. Keep in mind, no one's been able to see Barry Allen. No one's been able to, he could come and go as he pleases. No one's
from the moment he got his powers to now.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden it cuts back to Barry Allen, and his face was is he fucking seeing me now, bro?
He sees me right now, yeah.
As he's mid-run, he's oh, shit!
Yeah.
It was, his facial expression was so funny.
It wasn't necessarily a joke, but the fact that it did set it up as oh, shit, he can do this?
He's fast!
Everyone in the crowd laughed.
Oh,
that got a huge laugh. Like, oh shit, like, that's crazy.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Speaking of the crowd a little bit, when this movie ended,
we got some claps.
There were some claps in the audience. You know, I was clapping.
Listen, this movie went through a lot of turmoil to get made. If you think about it, I mean, were it not for BVS's essential failure, right? Statistically speaking.
Not financially speaking.
Not financially, but statistically. Like, on paper, like, what they were trying to accomplish and what they wanted, their goals, they weren't met, essentially. So, and the reviews were really bad for some reason. So, but this movie should have never been made. And so, it was originally slated for 2 movies, and it got cut down to 1, okay? So, the aspect of, you know, we knew going into Justice League, you can't have a Justice League without having Darkseid be a part of this whole thing, right?
Or at least the setup.
Or a setup. So, I think the villain in this movie was sort of a thing that I had an issue with.
Me too.
Because we were set up on BVS, right? Ultimate Edition, with the extra cutscene with the hologram, if you will, of Steppenwolf, right? So I knew that it was going to be this guy with like sort of these horn things, but his face looked nothing how I thought it was going to look.
There were some scenes where his face looked very plasticky, right? I'm talking visual effects here.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I know Leo's talking character-wise, but me, the thing that bothered me was the
still the aesthetics.
Yeah, the aesthetics. In most shots, he looked fine. He looked okay.
Sure. When he wasn't close up.
Yeah.
When he was far away, sure.
But here's the weak link in the movie for me is that I think Steppenwolf came on strong. But he came out of nowhere. There was no setup to him. He just showed the fuck up, right? And he just collected a mother box.
Right.
From that point on, I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't need a backstory. This is a badass scene.
See, it was never explained how he teleported there in the first place, right?
He probably used a little, Darkseid's little.
But see, that's the problem.
Teleporter thing.
They never even Let's continue.
For the layman, they need these
it's
little
like, how
details.
the fuck did he get on Earth?
And how the hell did he know where to go?
Yeah.
Right?
They call to him, dude.
I'm just gonna... I didn't see that. I didn't feel that. But
what I got
because if they call to him, then there's no need for you to hide them.
It's new God technology. It's new God's technology.
So here's the story. Steppenwolf
wants to preface all of this by saying we've only seen the movie once.
Only once, okay? We need to see it again.
We need to, yeah.
And the thing is like, the story is Steppenwolf is like collecting 3 different mother boxes. He's trying to combine them into one to kind of essentially take over or destroy Earth, right? And the thing is like the mother boxes, they had this major, speaking of like another good scene in here, they had this epic battle thousands of years ago.
Think Lord of the Rings, Battle of the 5 Armies.
Yeah, even though I never saw it.
It's okay.
So after this giant battle, 3 mother boxes were separated, but one box was to the Amazonians, the other one was to the humans,
men.
And the other one was to the Atlanteans. Okay, and those are the 3 clans or factions that are hiding these boxes.
So now, at this point, it's established. Hey, Atlanteans, the Amazonians and humans, they've all sort of coexisted at some point.
At some point, yes.
Yeah. So before BVS, before Man of Steel, before Wonder Woman, this is the story now, right? Is that they've all banded together. This is the lore of the DCEU. Is there was these 3 mother boxes on Earth, and these 3 factions bound together to protect Earth.
Yeah, and the thing about this is, in this epic battle, there was this battle apparently has been going on for thousands of years. It's not new to the Amazonians. It's not new to the Atlanteans either. The humans maybe, because it's just the stories have been lost or I don't know what, right? So the thing is in this battle, we got a little Easter egg, right? I saw a Green Lantern in this damn thing, and he was battling alongside, against Steppenwolf. Also, we also saw this giant dude who I'm just going to assume is not Odin.
Goliath?
No. the god of God, Odin?
Hercules?
The guy that was fucking throwing lightning bolts out of his hands.
That could have been Odin.
I think it's... Yeah.
No, sorry. Odin's, that's Marvel. We're talking... Oh, Shazam.
No. Well, see, originally I thought it was Shazam.
That's what I thought. Because I heard somebody meant, like, mumble Shazam. So I was like, is that Shazam? Because it was literally... he looked like a human. Right? And he just was like... Bam.
Yeah. And the thing is hold on a second. And the thing is... Sorry, my cats were play fighting. And the thing is I originally saw this. Well, the thing is, I thought it was Shazam, but then at the last shot, they were standing all together, and dude, that guy's like 10 feet taller or 5 feet taller than everyone else.
He's pretty big.
So I'm kind of like, there's no way that's Shazam. So I'm just thinking, is that Odin or?
See, and here's the thing: the only thing I pulled out of that movie, or that scene, I mean, is the appearance of a Green Lantern.
That was the main
only thing I took away from that whole
right. And the Green Lantern did die in this battle, and I did like the way that the ring they did take the time to show the ring come off the finger and find its new chosen.
Steppenwolf even followed the ring with his eyes. He visually his head tracked the ring disappearing.
So there's a lot of routes that this thing can go with, right? Mm-hmm. How are they going to introduce... Well, they kind of did introduce a Green Lantern, but they didn't introduce the Green Lantern in this movie.
Not the ones at least we're familiar with from our
Exactly. Side. So I'm just like, when does he come in? Does he get his own solo movie? Like, what's up?
It's been sort of talked about, right? That around 2020, 2021, there is going to be a Green Lantern, possibly a core movie.
Sure, and I would actually enjoy that if the casting is right and all that good stuff.
Okay, see, maybe we should save that for a little bit later. But yeah, so see, and that's the thing. Like the movie does these really good things. So when I think about my experience, the movie is overall enjoyable. Like
it is.
Like okay, for example, Cyborg, right? At the end of the movie, he's talking to his dad, right? And he changes his suit.
He's evolving.
He's evolving, right? So it's like all these characters are not who we're familiar with. They're who they were just before that, and this is the version. With them. And this is the version.
Yeah, exactly. Even towards the end, Barry Allen just got a job at the station,
at the police station,
at the police station.
And
so
forensics.
Yeah. So he's not like Leo said. These guys are not how we know them to be.
And this Barry Allen still trips. Mid-run.
Yeah.
A couple of times in key scenes.
Yeah, in key scenes. Yeah, it's true.
Right?
He's learning on the job.
And we're watching this evolution of him, and I think it's cool.
Yeah, and it's like, I can't wait out of all these characters. I know Aquaman is... I am looking forward to the Aquaman movie with James Wan.
I love how he looked underwater, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
With the whole bubble, like Mara, right? She puts her staff down and like this bubble like appears in between them so they can talk inside this oxygenated space.
Yeah, and the thing is like from Batman vs Superman, the little bit of footage that we saw of Aquaman, you would think it looks kind of cheesy a little bit.
It did.
But here in this movie, no, it actually works.
Right.
It works really well.
He's got superhuman strength.
And I would say a little speed.
Sure, that's what I'm saying.
Especially underwater.
He's not Superman quite, but he's kind of on that par of like being superhuman.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Right.
Now, by the way, guys, there are 2 end credit scenes here.
Yes.
I did know. I'm only saying this because I noticed one. A lot of people stayed for one end credit scene and they took off. And they completely missed, in my opinion, the most important end credit scene.
I think one of the best post-credit comic book scenes ever.
I would have to agree.
Almost, dude.
So, let's talk about the end credit scene.
Shit, yeah, let's do it.
The first one is midway through. It's kind of like more of a fun homage.
It's cute, yeah.
Kind of like
for
fan
nerd
service.
Fans. Yeah, sure.
And it's literally Barry Allen racing Superman.
Yeah.
We know who wins there, but it's like it's kind of like a cool little extra fan service.
But this doesn't have to be the only race. This could be the first of many races between them.
Well, I'd be pretty bummed if Barry Allen does not win. He should be winning. Right. But Superman is like... I like that they did it.
And here's the cool thing. He's not running next to him. He's flying next to him. So he's using his flight.
Yeah. And so that was pretty good. Oh, by the way, little detail with Superman. Did you notice that they fucking lightened up his damn color?
I did. And
now,
I actually...
What do you think? I mean...
I didn't mind it.
Okay.
I didn't mind it.
I didn't mind the original costume, the darker blue. I didn't mind that.
I like that costume.
I don't mind the lighter blue either. Yeah. To me, it's like... This is one of the things that pissed me off, Leo, is certain fans, hipsters, will just be like... will shit on a movie.
Okay.
Only because of a little bit of a color, like 2 shades darker. I'm like,
oh, sure.
Come on. Like, give me a
break. That's just nitpicking, I think.
But, the lighter color did look good. With that out of the way, it did look good.
I noticed the crest. I don't remember when. I think I saw it before the movie, but in the first scene where they show Superman in the camera phone video,
the opening
right?
scene.
The kids asking him questions, right? The S has a little bit of more detailed design on it, right? There's like a little bit of a crease right in the middle of the S flowing.
Yeah.
So it's almost like every movie the suit's evolved, and I don't mind that. It could actually go some other direction in the next movie he's in. But for this movie, it was good. I mean, he had his resurrection
and by the way, when it comes to Superman, they are trying to make him a little more not so gloomy, right?
Sure.
Even from the opening scene,
right.
a little kid asking him questions, and he's just
kid friendly.
He's kid friendly.
Right.
He's just kind of like a little more smiles.
Sure.
So. I don't know. I mean, personally, I like the gloomy one and the non-gloomy one. So, because I'm just a Superman fan, I'll watch anything Superman.
Right? The Man of Steel suit isn't gloomy though. It's just his introduction,
just dark.
And that movie was a little more saturated with colors. It was a little darker, a little richer here and there.
Yeah. The second end credit scene. Okay. Now, I kind of love it and I hate it, bro. Because okay.
Let's talk about why you hate it first.
Okay, I hate it because of who it involves.
So let's talk about what the end credit scene is.
Okay, the end credit scene is literally it goes back to jail. The security guard is trying to get Lex Luthor out of his cell, and you come to find out that that's not Lex Luthor, and Lex Luthor broke out. Right, he's on he's on a yacht.
As at some point we expected him to do.
Of course, he's Lex Luthor, right? He breaks out. It's a jail. Of course, he's gonna break
Lex
out of it. Yeah, he's the world's smartest man.
Sure.
So he breaks out of jail. It cuts to like him on a yacht, and lo and behold, this character comes out of the fucking shadows.
Now, here's the thing: when they're showing the speedboat, right? It cuts to the back of somebody's head, and it's like a little. You could see sort of like a bandana.
You're not really sure who it is unless you're like a super duper fan.
Flaring in the wind. Now, mind you, when I see this, I saw a little bit of orange and I saw a little bit of black.
Yeah,
I lost.
That was a dead giveaway.
I knew it already.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, what's his name? The actor.
He's Mangeleno or whatever.
Yeah. He's dating, married to Sofia Vergara.
Yeah.
Anyway,
he was in True Blood.
Manganiello, yeah.
Yeah, he's in True Blood. He's a wolf.
Anyway, he had talked about the fact that he is going to be Deathstroke at some point, and I kept that in the back of my mind, like, okay, so we're going to see that. We saw that.
We saw it, and he looked really good.
He looked amazing.
He looked like a villain that would rival Batman.
Now, they've showed Deathstroke already in the Arrow series. If you've watched Arrow.
I don't watch that series.
I watched it. They show him. They show Slade Wilson. They show the process of him and Queen, Oliver Queen, working to get off the island. But if you haven't seen that, then you don't know what he looks like in real life. So it was very similar, but he looked great
with the eye patch, the whole look, the white hair.
Oh yeah,
he nailed that look, bro.
He looked huge.
Oh yeah, I mean he naturally is.
Yeah, big. He's a big guy. He's a
well built,
yeah.
And he kind of matches Ben Affleck's.
Sure,
built,
yeah.
They're both big.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that I have to ask about it is are we gonna get a Deathstroke? Was this a setup to?
Look, I think an even more interesting question is: are they going to set up the League of Doom?
Yeah,
at some point.
That's where this whole big holy shit moment
leads up to. I mean, we're already shitting our pants because whoa, Deathstroke is in this movie,
and it's a dead giveaway because Lex Luthor is I'm just wondering why can't we have a league of our own? And I'm just like, oh man, I was just like, holy shit. And
I'm picturing the swamp dome, coming out of the water, and in some dark swamp, the Legion of Doom gathers.
But now I'm wondering, dude, this is like 100 million opening weekend.
Sure.
This is like a disappointment, bro. This is like the disappointment of disappointments here. Now I'm wondering,
We'll see
dude,
tomorrow,
are we gonna fucking get it? Are we gonna get this Legion of Doom? It'd be kind of sweet for like a Justice League 2 movie.
I hope so. For the sake of everyone involved in this movie and this project, the overarching project, if you will, I hope they get the chance to make it. I really do.
I don't think they will.
Probably not.
Because of the money, bro.
I don't think it's even the money. I think they're just going to literally reset. This is what, to my knowledge, what's happened with the Warner Brothers handling of the DCEU is that BVS failed, okay? So it's all hands on deck, red alert on deck. All hands on deck, red alert. And now it's like they're saving face, man. They're like, let's just get Justice League done. Let's finish this phase, if you will, and then we'll regroup once we get like the crowd's consensus of how they feel with obviously the box office numbers.
Here's how
and then they're gonna go from there.
Here's how they can reset, bro. When they make the Flash movie,
sure.
If that Flash movie is like top notch, and it's like everyone's like, wow.
See, and the beauty of making the Flash movie after the Aquaman movie, which I don't know if it's gonna come out. It's probably gonna come out after the Wonder Woman movie.
Is they can reset. Barry can reset.
They can totally get rid of Ben Affleck as Batman, and then just be like, oh, so and so is now Batman.
Yeah. Because things changed. He changed the shit.
Sure.
And they could easily be like, all this, whatever you just recently saw, all the movies, they never happened.
Right.
They
Which is what they're going to do anyway with Marvel and Infinity War.
Most likely.
Pretty much.
I think so. I think people are going to die in that one. The key characters are going to die in this one. So, with that out of our way...
One more thing. Superman and his resurrection.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
Dude. Okay.
They use a mother box to bring him back on the Kryptonian ship.
But I didn't like that, because the thing is like... The whole thing at the end of Batman vs Superman, when they shot in a close up of the coffin, and then the dirt just starts slowly rising up, I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna just resurrect or kind of come back to himself. Mm-hmm. He's gonna just revive himself or something. Something's gonna happen. I was not expecting a damn mother box.
Which, I mean, okay, in my mind, it's sort of okay.
And on top of that, how did Batman know? That would revive him.
I think it's because of the fact that it brought back Cyborg. They used that box to bring life to Cyborg. Okay. So if he brings,
I guess.
So he thought maybe by putting it on Superman, it would.
But it's fucked Cyborg up.
It did, but he wasn't whole.
Yeah,
he was pieces of himself.
So I'm just kind of like. At some point in certain points in this movie, I just accepted it.
See, I accepted it too, but the thing that, and this was another disappointment, was they completely eliminated the possibility of the next Superman movie being, or the next arc of Superman movies they could have gotten away with is the rise of the Superman, right? Where 4 imposter Supermen claim to be the last son of Krypton. We have Man of Steel, the last son of Krypton. We have Superboy, and we have Cyborg Superman. That could have been a great movie. But now that's gone. Sure. At least for the next foreseeable future of, the DCEU movies.
Now, speaking of things that just happened to kind of like, that were weird, how about Darkseid? We only got one mention of Steppenwolf only mentioned Darkseid once, right? And it was kind of like a throwaway line. It was not like they didn't emphasize on that word, right?
All he was doing is basically saying, if I can do this, I get a seat on that table with the New Gods and Darkseid.
And that was it.
That was it.
So you would think that they would hint at other things Darkseid related. No, that never happened.
He gets defeated, and a boom tube opens, and he gets sucked up. Him and the remaining parademons. They could have showed the hand of Darkseid
or something.
Something they could have. I don't know. Some beam could have appeared and burned an Omega, sort of an Omega beam.
That would have been awesome, bro.
You know,
if a boom 2 opened and you just see the Omega beams,
boom,
kill Steppenwolf,
sure,
like, boom, right then and there, and everyone's like, "Who the fuck is that?"
Yeah, and then it closes. And that's it. Boom. That's it.
Dude,
we would have known that was Darkseid. Yeah,
goosebumps, bro.
See, and how hard would it have been to just do like a little more CGI, a little laser, right?
Well, he's like, how hard is it? Come on, guys. Like that would have taken like fucking a month. Okay,
sure.
But with all that said, man, what's your final score, and why?
Honestly, I left the movie feeling like an 8. Okay,
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Yeah. Because it's a great story, okay? Where BVS had its shortcomings, I think this one sort of completed the story, right? There was no sort of like, there actually are complaints of people saying there are loophole, plot holes in this movie created by certain things. I don't necessarily subscribe to that theory or that idea. I mostly feel like they played it safe.
Sure.
They played it safe to hit a specific target, and that's, let's just finish the movie and make sure it's good.
Let's make sure it's at least entertaining.
Entertaining, sure. And it was.
Throw some jokes, make it entertaining, make it, like, the action's good.
The first time we see these 6 characters come together, okay, they achieved all of that. But before, leading up to that, we listened to what's going on with those movies. What happened to Flashpoint? What happened to Justice League 2?
They retconned a lot of shit here, bro.
A lot. We can see it. We can see what happened, you know? When we think about certain scenes, right? Like like the last scene with the last boom tube, a great missed opportunity for Darkseid there. The whole resurrection of Superman, they could have brought back a Superman. And then at the end of the movie reveal, oh, this isn't the one you thought it was. Right? The fight happens. Okay? He's still for justice and truth. Okay?
You're talking about like Black Suit Superman?
Sure.
By the way.
Or any of the Superman.
By the way, there was like Henry Cavill himself was like hinting at like Black Suit Superman. That doesn't happen.
Which would have looked similar to Zod's suit, basically.
Yeah. But it just goes to show you a lot of things Zack Snyder had in place got cut out, bro.
Sure, because you know what they could have done is they could have buried him with the Superman suit, and what happens is when you die, the suit goes black.
I'm curious.
He's resurrected, and he comes back with the black suit.
I'm curious to see what Zack Snyder thinks of the movie, because I read that he hasn't seen the movie yet.
He probably won't watch it.
So my score is going to be originally it was a 7.5 out of 10. Now thinking about it, I think maybe I'm a little more like, I don't take movies so serious, right? Where it's like, oh, this flaw, I see a flaw here. Oh, 2 points out. You know, like I don't do that. I accept the flaws, and what I base my scores on, guys, just so you guys know, because my scores are everywhere. They're all over the joint. Is I base it on, did I enjoy myself? The first and foremost, did I enjoy myself?
Sure.
Was I entertained? Did I cry? Did I laugh? Did I smile? All of that is taken into effect, and it also depends on the type of movie I'm watching too. If it's a superhero movie, that's what I base it on. If it's like a Room or like Moonlight, it's completely a story first driven story. So with this, I have to still remain at a 7.5 out of 10. After I watch it the second time, I most likely would be like, my brain will literally ignore all the flaws and will just be like, entertain me, please. Like, I will just be more willing to accept the flaws the second time, because I already know where they are. And I will probably give it an 8 out of 10 at the end of the second viewing. So, yeah.
I don't think I said my score, but it's
you didn't.
It goes back and forth between 7.5 and an 8. It really does. And again, I might have to see it more than twice, right? I might have to own it and watch it multiple times, like I have BVS, which now I appreciate a lot more than I did back then.
Oh yeah,
right? Because there was that cloud of like the criticism, right? Which is what we're probably gonna have with this movie for a while, right?
Yeah.
Once you bring it home and then you watch it in your own privacy and you make up your own mind about it, it's definitely between a 7.5 and an 8. I mean, it doesn't matter that Darkseid's not in there. I actually wanted it to be a closed story because they're not making a second part.
2.
Yeah, so I essentially, after I got over that part, I love the fact that, boom, he dies and he goes up in the boom tube and that's it. Or whatever. He goes away. Go away. Okay? I can get over that, and I actually enjoy that part of it.
Yeah, like with Batman vs. Superman, I literally watched that movie 10 times. I have it in 4K Blu-ray, just so you know. And I watched it like fucking 10 times. I wouldn't doubt it 20 times. I love that movie. The extended edition, it just made it a little bit better. And I'm wondering if we're going to get an extended edition of this movie, the Justice League.
I hope so.
I don't think we will, only because, dude, if
they don't want to make a bad habit out of that.
Well, not only that, because the I'm assuming that the scenes that they cut out are in conflict to the story that they gave us.
Sure.
So that's why I think we won't get an extended edition on this one.
Which I guess it's fine, but look, and I think I mentioned this. This movie, I think, would have been easily an 8, solid 8.5, with another 20 minutes of.
I agree.
Whatever story,
100%. I agree.
Sprinkled throughout certain key scenes that were definitely sort of cut short.
Yeah,
right? And something I didn't know, and you mentioned this to me yesterday, was I didn't know this. Warner Brothers is no longer making any DCEU movies over 2 hours,
which I think is kind of dumb.
That's
because
bad.
if it calls for it, like a Justice League 2 with Legion of Doom, give me a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah, I'll take it.
You know, give me a 3 hour if it's good, if it's needed, like really. But maybe a 2.5 hour movie, a 3 hour extended edition movie. You know, like for home use.
I've just watched Gone with the Wind and Dances with Wolves, 2 movies that are almost 4 hours long each. They didn't need all that time. But they got it. And the movie sort of flows. You sort of feel it, but at the same time, scenes just sort of meld together and it flows and the story is complete. Definitely could have done with another 20 minutes. A half hour would have been more than enough. We would have had a perfect Justice League movie, I think. A perfect one.
Yeah. So. And with that said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this long review. Sorry we went rambling on and on. But you know what? We've been gone for a long time. We have a lot to say about this movie. And we will be back. You know what? We might be thinking of the Punisher, Netflix Punisher, maybe next weekend.
We're in the middle of watching that.
We're in the middle of watching it. We're in episode 3 or 4. And next weekend, let's give you the Punisher Marvel review. So far, so good. Anyways, on that note, please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Peace. Hey guys, fuck me. Jesus Christ. Oh man, this is gonna be a long one, bro.
You got time.
Hey guys, this is Marcus and Leo from Big Time Super Friends, and I know you missed us, but have no fear. This is our Justice League movie review. Oh man, I wanted to fucking rhyme it with something. Have no fear.
Justice League review is here.
Oh, motherfucker.
It's okay.
You would think that was like the easiest thing in the world.
Well, hindsight is 20/20, man.
Shit.